Welcome back to Creating K-Pop / Making K-Pop presented by In My Fields. And today we are spotlighting the U.S. North American-based YouTubers.
Yes, we are so lucky and happy to have some of the biggest platforms out here, and they are different in what they do, but we got to introduce them. First of all, we have Rosan, aka xCeleste here, a BTS theorist and editor extraordinaire, who actually has her own podcast called Interlude Army alongside Jose Ochoa, that's also on the Himalaya platform. Thank you for coming, Rosan.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And then we have Umu, the founder and main organizer of the YouTube channel React to the K, most famously known for their Classical Musicians React series. And I know you guys have a podcast as well, right?
No, actually not.
Really? Okay. Wait, so what are those interviews, those long form interviews you do with the producers? Yeah.
They just happen to be really long interviews.
Oh, okay. I see. I thought it was a podcast. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. Anyway. Maybe one day. But thank you both for joining us.
Yes,
today.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think we wanted to do this in the form of kind of what maybe a KCON panel would be like. And there has been like creating a YouTube channel like panels before, right? I believe PD and DKDK were guests on it last year.
Yeah.
And Terry TV.
Yeah.
Right. But first, a lot of people are starting to create channels. I know you've gotten questions about it, Dre. All three of you guys have gotten questions about how to create it. And I feel like the most important, and you can tell me otherwise, but we're going to start off with the most important probably think about as you're starting your channel, which is building your voice and your brand. And you guys each have very different voices and brands, which just has made you popular because it's not like everybody else's, you know? So I want to know, and Dre, obviously you can answer this too, but we'll be switching off with questions.
No, please do. I'm curious.
Yeah, right? Yes, I'm like, Dre. This is a panel for Dre too. First, my first question for you is, should you experiment with your brand / voice at first, or should you have an idea of what you want out of the gate? I know, Umu, you started off with like your own reactions, and then now it's something completely different. So want to know what you guys, think about sticking to that from the beginning, or, being open to jumping around.
Right. I think there's ups and downs to both. Right. I personally kind of regret not having a specific mindset for a specific brand before I started, so that I would know what to do just right out of the gate. But also having, like, starting off kind of just playing it by ear kind of in a way does develop a really nice family with the followers who do start with you from the beginning, right? And so they see your growth, they see your change. But then the downfall is that some people might not like that change, right? So I guess I see a little bit more pros in, yes, knowing your brand, brainstorming the different kind of videos you do want to make beforehand.
Okay. What about you, Rosan?
Well, for me, I actually got into it not really knowing what I wanted to do. Actually, for those who follow me on YouTube, I wasn't xCeleste in the beginning. I actually started off as a gaming channel because I loved gaming. I loved editing. But then I realized that, with the gaming community, there's some parts of it that I wasn't really comfortable with, but I still wanted to continue editing. So I transitioned over to, let me add K-pop into this mix because I love K-pop as well. And I noticed people were doing reactions. Actually, Dre was one of the first channels that I ever started watching. And so I'm like, you know what? Let me try this as well because I wanted to incorporate K-pop into that. And then that's when I started doing reactions. And then from there, I realized that the community of reactions started to get like very saturated on YouTube. So that's when I was like, you know what, maybe I should try to find something that I'm good at, but still involves K-pop and editing. And that's when I found that I was really good with theories. So if only I knew, so sometimes a lot of people wonder what their whole main thing should be about on their channel, but sometimes we just don't know. We just want to, I feel like that might hold you back from starting a YouTube channel is when you do all that planning. So I feel like just jump into it. See what you're good at. See, I wouldn't have known that I was going to be good at like theories until I jumped into it. So I guess go with the flow, see what you're good at, experiment.
It's very true.
And I mean, and don't feel bad if you don't get the results that you want right away, because that does
keep
tend
on
to
going.
happen. Just keep going. So,
Right.
What in the gaming community then made you feel uncomfortable?
you know, should I be raw
Like-
about this?
Yeah.
You could just tiptoe. It doesn't matter.
As a female gamer in the community, we do get harassed sometimes, and so and we're kind of like looked down upon. I mean, it's 2020, I know, right? Like, that still happens. Yes, unfortunately, it does. So we do have to put up with a lot more things. But I noticed that when I started doing K-pop reactions, I slowly strayed away from gaming, because the K-pop community, for me, it was just a lot more like open and loving, and that's the reason why.
Right. And also, back on the topic on the original question, I realized when Roseanne was talking about it, it's a bit like trying to find your major before going to college, right?
Yeah.
Like, there
Very
are
true.
so many things that once you get to college that you haven't done before in high school. Like, my whole life, it was, at first I wanted to be, like, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a fashion designer. And then the rest of my life, I know, right? I went in the real opposite direction. Then all I did for my high school, middle school experience was music. And so I was like, okay, this is literally the only thing that I ever had time for, and all I did. So that's what I'm going to do in college, right? But then I got to college, and the YouTube thing became a thing, And I started editing, and I loved editing. Then I learned about audio mixing and mastering and recording, and I loved that aside from performing, right? So I guess, Roseanne, you've convinced me, right? Like, yeah, just start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Do whatever the heck you want.
It's very true.
Interact with your audience, see what they suggest,
Yes.
and just go for it, right? Do what, go follow your heart.
It sounds corny, but it's true. Question, Umu, how'd you learn editing?
Trial and error.
Oh, nice. Did you like look up on YouTube or Google, whatever?
Yeah, I remember when
There
I
you go.
first wanted, after watching your reactions, after I was like, oh, I want to try this stuff out in high school, I looked up online how to make a reaction video, right? So I had iMovie on my computer, and then I just copied what they did, filmed, and then my editing sucked for years, but then slowly I
Over time,
started
yeah.
noticing, other people's techniques, and I started playing more transition to Final Cut Pro. And yeah, it just trial and error, man.
Yeah, no, that's part of it. That's why I keep on telling people, like, oh, how do you edit this? I'm like, dude, YouTube is there. I still myself look up skills and tricks, how to like improve my editing, just YouTubing and like transitions and different, yeah, it's there. Okay, I was just wondering, because it seems like you were going one way, and then all of a sudden you start editing and filming. I was like, oh, okay. How'd you
That's very
learn?
interesting.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Google is your friend too.
Google is definitely a friend. You just ask questions to Google.
Yeah.
Google knows
They
everything.
answer.
It sure
do.
does.
It's
Wait,
it's
Dre,
kinda creepy.
you use Final Cut Pro
What?
too, right?
I went to film school, so I learned how to use a lot. I was supposed to be an editor either way if this didn't work out. But it's cool. I'm my own boss, so that's pretty cool. So instead of working for somebody. So yeah, I learned Final Cut Pro. There's Avid. There's Sony Vegas Pro. But usually I use Final Cut. Yeah, I think that's the main thing.
Okay.
And I guess my advice, should you experiment at first, when I first started, I had nobody. I was definitely one of the first, I guess. That's why people call me, I guess, OG, whatever.
Oh, gee, yes.
Indeed.
So it was a lot of trial and error. I did reactions because I saw a few other YouTubers before. They're not doing it anymore, but did it. And I thought it was a fun way to put myself out there, because there was no other K-pop fans when I first started. I was wondering if someone thought the way I did. So I put myself, like, if you see my first one, I didn't have picture in picture. It was just me. And I clickbaited the shit out of it. I put sexy half Asian male reacts to BAP warrior. And just the comments, that's where I started. There was no picture in picture. It was just me reacting, because I didn't know at the time. And I just kept on going. And I tried and error. I did skits as well. I did everything where it would be unboxing or just like random vlogs. Just kept on going. And I think that's one of the reasons why my channel grew, because I did skits because I knew that not everybody would want to see a reaction. I was like, all right, let me do this. So I guess if I get any advice that, and y'all said it too, is just experiment, do it. I always say that to everybody at KCON that I ask from, like, just do what you think works for you, whatever you're comfortable, what are you interested in. It doesn't even have to be about K-pop, but if you're into it, yeah, why not? And just experiment and see what clicks. I mean, there's other ways to do it. You could see what trends and then just go through that. Yeah, like, or yeah, basically. And then we'll see that's how I think of it. That's how I gave my advice before too. Basically, what is the best way to venture into new territories that are not usually your brand or voice? I mean, I feel like everybody has experimented. Definitely. I think this goes with the first question, obviously, but what are different ways do you think?
I think the best way to transition smoothly is kind of know your audience and know who has done something similar to what you want to do. Because I remember what partially sparked my reason for transitioning to Classical Musicians React was Mr.
Mr. Jake.
Yeah, Mr. J. Yeah, Mr. J K-pop.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like a guitarist. He was like engineer, like exactly.
Yeah.
He would break it down.
He went to Boston, a music conservatory in Boston, and so I was like, oh, a musician is reacting, and but I don't see any other classical musicians reacting, right? And so I took his form of just commenting on the music and thought, I can ask my friends to do that, right? But it was also a mixture of just me thinking, I want to convert my friends into K-pop fans. And so, like, half of it, like, maybe, no, 1/3 of it was actually planned out, and the rest was just like, YOLO, I want my friends to be K-pop fans, and I'm just going to film them doing so. But it was...
That's dope.
Yeah, it was more the way that I've started reacting now has been a lot of feedback from fans. Just like, if you're starting this YouTube channel, if you're wanting to transition to something else, ask your fandom, ask your friends, ask your family, what do they think? Just get as much input as you can. So, and then just develop on from there based on what people say.
So I guess my story is almost similar, except theory-wise. So because I'm in, the ARMY fan base of fans of BTS, I wanted to stick out from everybody else because, like I said, everyone at that time was also doing reactions. But what would set me apart from just being called like a reactor? And so I was looking around and I noticed there wasn't a lot of information about like their storyline or their theories. And so just like how you realized that there wasn't a lot of people like reacting from a different background with knowledge of music, I was like, you know what, let me give this a try, hopefully. And it was my way of also helping the fandom to figure things out, because not everyone could just sit there and try to piece everything together. Same. And so that's when I was like, you know what, let me... Dre is like...
I rely on y'all.
For real. Man. And so when I started noticing the feedback I was getting, I'm like, you know what, okay, this is doing pretty good. And that's how I kept continuing on. But try to find something in a community that you feel like... is not very common, but also don't stray too far from where I guess you started. I guess somehow connected in some way, just so some people could still relate to it, even though they subscribed to your channel for like a certain reason. And if you do want to transition, do it, I guess, like slowly, like do your for example reactions, and then do your daily vlog, and then just keep going from there, so you could build audiences for both, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, venturing out, like even like what I said in the beginning, I knew that not everybody wanted to see a reaction for my channel, and I knew that if I did other things that like pertain to like what happened recently, kind of like I remember one time Big Bang's Baby came out, or they were doing like a monthly thing that Big Bang did back then, and that came out, I did a reaction, but then I worked on like a parody, like a lot so when they come out again, I'm gonna put it out with Big Bang, because everybody's gonna be searching up Big Bang, and then people was like, oh, he does parodies too, so let's check that out. That's one of the reasons I think why my channel grew too. Obviously, it's another reason why I was like one of the I guess OGs too, but and actually me currently right now, like going to Twitch, is a different platform. Kind of like what Rosan said, is like I'm still doing what I'm doing on YouTube on Twitch, but on a live scale, because Twitch is live streaming, but also everybody has different, like, you know, things that they're into. So, you know, whether we talk about anime or games or blah blah or play video games, I would play. Yeah, we have like anime and show, like, where we just straight up just talk about, especially the intro, like the music in anime. I always talk about that. Yeah, it's just way you transition. Kind of like even with my Instagram, I would do. I knew my audience was K-pop, so I would just do a little green screen or those green screens take so freaking long, but hopefully people enjoy them.
I can't imagine.
Which I guess they do.
We love it.
For 30 seconds, it's like 5-6 hours of filming.
Major respect.
And then editing, it's just another like 3 hours. Like, oh my god, just for 30 seconds. But I guess a lot of people like it, so I'm glad. Yeah, I think those are just ways to venture out. I think people shouldn't be scared to venture out. It is scary because you don't want to lose what you have. Yeah. But don't, like you said, Rosan said, don't go too far off. I mean, you could. I mean, there's people that have done that, but I just, from a safe point, you gotta like see what you're known for and then just like slowly go out there and it'll work out. I think just be consistent. I think. Yeah.
That's what I hear a lot of people say. Consistency is key to building that audience.
True.
I wonder, and you guys aren't necessarily too controversial, but I wonder if being controversial is a good thing, is sometimes a good thing or not, because being, you know, obviously no one wants to be canceled. That's not a fun thing. However, sometimes it is good for views. Let's say you are the one that's struggling to get, you know, however many, you know, subscribers, and you make a controversial video. Yeah. And people come and you're like clickbaity, or it could be good in that way, but it also could be bad for, you know, having a big fandom like Army come back to watch your videos, or it could be bad for, you know, future collaborations that you could have with said artist or label. So want to know what you guys think about that.
My heart is racing right now.
Oh,
Really?
You said the word controversy, and I'm like,
Oh, no, cancel.
so you clearly don't like controversy. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so earlier on in my channel, I had kind of a friend manager advisor, and he loved controversy. He thought controversy is like the #1 way to gain subscribers, right? And so I kept fighting him on that until, I'm not sure if you guys have seen our twice cheer up video. And that's when we finally had the choice of release these comments that will have a lot of angry fans or keep them quiet. And that that video came out around the time that I had finals, so he had to edit, and he was a anti-Twice fan or anti-once, I don't know. And so that's like one of my biggest regrets, is actually allowing him to edit that, because I could, if I had edited it, I felt like, oh, I could have just like phrased it in a more positive way. I could keep in the comments that did end up being released that caused controversy, right? But I mean, I think there are more downs than ups, right? Because a reason why I'm a YouTuber and why I continue to be a YouTuber is because I get messages saying that I've put a smile on someone's face across the globe, right? Who I originally would have, you know, never met, never talked to, never affected in any way. And so with controversy, there's lots of not smiles. And so personally, I like to stay away from it, but I do understand why people see it as a way, yes, you can gain attention for a very specific, strong opinion and saying things. So I'm curious what you guys think about controversy too.
I think it just depends on what topic. For example, I feel like when it comes to like K-pop, being controversial, I feel like there's a lot more cons than pros to it. That's because, you know, as fans, a lot of us are like pretty dedicated. But then I noticed that other YouTubers have gotten big through controversies, but they weren't in the K-pop industry or anything. They were just getting attention, like fighting with each other, a lot of drama, and that worked for them. You know what I mean? But I don't think that works for us.
Because everything is so competitive, right? And a negative opinion is seen automatically as hate. And a lot of opinions are seen as facts instead of opinions. Like, I know, I don't think struggle is the right word, but some people see our reviews as facts. No, they aren't. They aren't facts at all. They're still opinions, even though we're basically just backing our opinions up with biased facts. Do those exist? Like, right? So we have an opinion. We say like, okay, we love this song because of these 4 reasons, but those 4 reasons could be completely boring, or they hate those reasons from a different person's point of view, right? I guess it's just like the influencers in general. Comments are often seen as facts rather than opinions, and that kind of hazes over things.
I think what it is too is like, because we are known as reactors, so a lot of people come over to our videos because it's groups or artists that they like, and they want to see how you like it, and just want to get like positive feedbacks from our reactions. And so I see how people react to like negative comments because they don't want to hear that about a group or artist that they like or adore, and sometimes it may like offend them, even though, you know, it is your opinion, but they do care about it. And so I guess when it comes to controversies, I guess for us reactors, we just want to make people happy,
right?
Bring them joy and entertainment more than we do drama, I guess.
Controversy. I mean, there's been YouTubers that live off controversy. It does get views for sure because people want to know the tea. I mean, tea's amazing. I think sometimes, I think all of us have love to know tea as well.
Oh yeah.
But, I mean, with my channel, my mindset was to be like entertaining. I knew what I was. I knew what where my boundaries are. So I knew what I was good at. I mean, maybe once in a while I accidentally made a controversy by accident, or a fandom war almost happened. Because back then it was like there was the Mama Awards, and still to this day there's like fan wars happening.
Of course.
I mean, I don't pay attention to it because I don't care. Like, especially Twitter, K-pop Twitter is like crazy. Every time I go on there, I'm like, yo, what's happening? And I'm lost. I could something could be happening one day, and I tweet out like a peach emoji and sets off somebody off. I'm like, what? Right. What happened? Or I could say like, I could just type sigh, like not the actual artist, like the emotion. Yeah. And then it's like, yeah, I know, right? I'm like, what? No. Or a clown emoji, like, I don't know, like that even gets me in trouble somehow. I know people talking shit about me. It doesn't matter anymore to me. Maybe back then, but I try not to be controversial at all. I hate drama. I don't really care to be a part of it. And if I am a part of it or somehow I made a mistake, I do apologize. But I'm like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. And hopefully people understand that I can grow as a human being. Right. And then instead of like, you know, saying like, oh, he'll never change. I'm like, yeah, no, people change for real. Yeah. Especially if it's like over like a 10-year span. But yeah. Controversy. There's a lot of YouTubers that do that. I mean, if you want to just I'll name drop DK TV, but they know it.
Danny knows.
They know it. Whether it be or even like some like of the newer like reactors that are like, you know, that are of course like produce reacts that they don't know what they're getting themselves into. But it just comes with the territory. If you want to be controversial, just expect to hate. That's what I say. Throughout time on YouTube, you can't make an opinion anymore, really. Sometimes you can, but you have to like watch your words because someone will get triggered, which is like unfortunate. But back then it would be a lot easier to spread your opinion because I definitely seen it, or like how seeing people change their like the way they talk, where they're used to be so opinionated back then, but now they're like kind of careful. It is what it is.
I think it's because, you know, as you grow, you start to realize that your words do affect people. And that's why. Because, you know, when you're small, you feel like no one really cares about what you say, what you do. But in reality, as you grow bigger, people do watch you. And
yeah, your words mean something, especially when you grow bigger. But yeah, controversy, I'm not really about it, really. I don't really have my channel as a controversial, like just to make tea. I mean, I would like clickbait it, of course, like, oh, I got some tea, but it's nothing really that crazy. Or it's like good tea that's like positive at least. But, you know, yes, controversy gets views, but that's just not me.
And then there's along the lines of slightly different topic, but what we do to avoid controversy. And like you said, Dre, words you say 2 words and everything can go to shit, right?
Yep.
And so I often, I don't know about you guys, but I often, if I want to express a negative opinion, I like sit in the front of the camera for like 30 minutes just trying to find the correct way to word it, right? So that I don't offend people. And I often encourage the people on the Classical Musicians React panel, like, if you have something negative to say, like what would originally be, yeah, this is really boring, I hate it, right? Say, the word I or my, right? So you're not like stating it like this is boring. It's I find this, that's like step number 1, right? You're saying, you're relating it to yourself.
Yeah.
And then step number 2, give a reason why, so that people can see it more as an opinion instead of like immediate, like, why are you spreading hate?
Right.
Blah, 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 stuff like that. So if anyone is trying to start a YouTube channel and they do want to express something like an unpopular opinion, maybe take your time. If you want to avoid controversy, really take your time to figure out how to word things in a way that wouldn't set someone off or hurt someone's feelings or anger them.
Yeah. Like I used to say, like way back when it was some group, I don't know, I said like, yo, this sounds dope, but it might not be for me. It's I could tell why this is for somebody else. Like this is, and it was back then when I wasn't really into the cutesy stuff. Then Twice happened, and I'm like obsessed with cute stuff. I don't know, but and then Girls' Generation too. They got and A-Pink. But anyways, but I remember back then I was like, nah, F all these cutesy shit. It's all about like the like all this. I was all about that. But yeah, or I would say like, yo, this is probably gonna be the only time I'm gonna listen to this, which is kind of harsh, but I would say that it's just a different way of saying that. Or when I really like something, I usually say like, I'm gonna add this to the playlist. This is gonna be on repeat for a while.
Trey approved.
There you go.
Trey, I had never said that before, but I don't think I'll ever do that.
A little check
I was
mark.
like,
Trey. So this is actually sort of focused on Rosan, but it was more about how like, what are the pros and cons to focusing on
one group?
Right.
Well, the pros to it is because I love BTS, it's really easy for me to make BTS content and be happy with it. Because, but of course, the cons that come with it is because it is focused on just one group, and having to make multiple videos on just one group is challenging sometimes. Like, you have to get creative, or you have to wait on them to drop content in order for you to make more content.
True.
And that's when you have to just be creative. I am kind of slacking there. There's a lot more videos that I could make, like more theory videos, more, I don't know, like comedic edits. Like I could make more crack videos. But that's another thing too. When it comes to like K-pop groups, copyrights is always involved. And so if I do want to make an edit, I have to take footage from something that I don't own. And sometimes I do get copyrighted for it. But that's the thing. I love doing what I do, but sometimes I can't always push out the content, the amount of videos that I want, unless I sit there and really focus on.
It must be pretty nice that, Big Hit acquired like Pledis and Source, so that now like if they happen to go into some sort of like lore with 17 or with Newest or like with,
that'd be crazy.
Obviously G-Friend is sort of doing that. Like you could totally like, okay, well this is a big hit thing, so there's a little more content.
That's true. Oh yeah, that's why I started doing like TXTs. And then 17, I wonder how they finally posted like their first music video on the Big Hit label channel, and so and G-Friend. So I could incorporate those groups into my channel eventually. But yeah, I've been doing TXT as well, so that has helped.
Right.
The lore and theories have helped a lot.
That makes sense. I mean, and even Dre, like you were, obviously a huge VIP in Blackjack, like
YG.
Yeah, like a YG stan. Like, did that ever affect you in any way?
In the beginning, I was definitely all YG stan, and then I just decided that why do I have to like only listen to YG when there's other things? That's why I discovered Shiny. I was like, why do I have to not listen to Shiny? But I don't know. I feel like if you just focus on one group, I'm multi-fandom, so I have to. It's hard for me to keep up. But there's things that I've missed from BTS that you probably covered, Rosan. I'm like, oh, when did this happen? And he's like, you haven't knew about? I'm like, no. I'm like, I haven't kept up. It's just like sometimes I just can't keep up. That's just the part of just being multi-fandom. But it's just like more for me. I mean, I call myself a K-pop and hoe, but that's just a joke. Or is it?
Love it.
But I just decided to focus on more groups because I felt like, more to cover. I mean, I didn't expect K-pop to grow this big and this fast, to be honest. Especially when I first started, I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes. But yeah.
Yeah, before there was, I feel like nowadays there's a lot of like new groups, and I could see how overwhelming that is. I mean, I did get into K-pop back in 2006, and I could keep track of, like, I knew every artist that was like performing on like Music Bank and just watching every single performance because I knew them all. But now it's come to the point where there's like just a lot of groups, and it's hard to keep up. But I feel like I wanted to say this out loud, like even though I consider myself an army, I feel like we have the right to also like we should appreciate other artists as well. And I know that I need to say that out loud because I feel like some armies don't feel guilty that you're listening to other artists as well. Like my Spotify is filled with other artists.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm curious, Dre, with being multi-fandom, I don't know about you, but I feel extremely pressured to try and feature as many different artists as possible, right?
It's true.
And so once you start featuring more artists, people are like, you haven't reacted to this one artist, you hate them, right? So do you ever, since the music world is so big, do you ever find yourself making sure to pick the artist that you know you'll like their songs? Or do you just try to react as much as possible?
I don't know. I really do trust my audience, at least, that they know what I like. I've said it many times. I'm big into R&B and stuff. I'm big into like this. I've been really big into ballads nowadays too, so I've been being said that. But I don't know. Sometimes I do miss out. Like I've said, I slept on this group. Like whether they gave me like, yo, you got to react to this group, and I'm like, I don't know, but I'll just skip it over, and then that's my fault. I even said it myself, like, yo, I slept on it, but now I woke up. You know, I just try to make light of it. You know, instead of like saying, you know, most of the time, it's fine. I don't see any problem. I mean, back then, yeah, a little bit, but or maybe I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
like at a point, I'm like, listen, I messed up. I'm gonna check it out. I checked it out on Twitch. That's a good excuse because I did, but because I watched it live, and you could watch it back on video on demand on Twitch. But you know, but people are learning that too. All right, so content creation, react or not.
You were talking about earlier how the reaction is like becoming so saturated, right? Because just everyone's reacting.
Yeah.
I have maybe an unpopular opinion about this. I think
Go ahead.
by all means react. I don't like I keep hearing people being upset with YouTubers who are fake reacting just for views, but I don't know about them, but I can't get any money from this. Like so views mean nothing. So they're literally reacting. Maybe their stuff isn't copyrighted, but if it's copyrighted, then yeah, they're doing it because they're interested, right? And the whole point of reactions, like we went over earlier, is to find if you have something in common with this person, to hear your thoughts said out loud, and to find a friend, a family online that loves the same artist, loves the same music as you. And so there, with every reactor, because, you know, every human being is different, you will find a friend. And I know a lot of idols watch reaction content too. And they'll just go through and watch every single one. And so my opinion is the more the better. But also, if you do want to grow into a channel that is recognized and different from everybody else, then have something more to the reactions, like your reviews and analysis and theories, right?
I mean, whether it be fake or not, I don't know if I'll name drop. People have asked me about, like, you know, faking reactions. Saying like, you know, like, oh, you watched the video beforehand, right? I'm like, no. it's like, oh, you don't watch it first? I'm like, oh, okay.
That ain't a reaction.
That's not a reaction. I mean, it's a reaction, but it's not a true reaction. I made sure for myself that I don't watch it. Like, I suffer for not watching. Like, if I'm like doing something, whether I stay up late or I freaking, like, you know, I have to do something first, and then I just like suffer. When I get home, I have to do a reaction. Like, it's first-hand reactions are usually the best.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I feel like if you want to react. Put yourself out there. You could like communicate with other people who are into that group as well, or make friends on YouTube. It's a pretty fun community once you've built your, you know, viewers. And then if you do want to expand on that, I guess try to find something that you're good at and incorporate it. Make yourself stand out a little bit more. But you know, you shouldn't tell someone to not start a YouTube reacting channel.
I wonder, and this is kind of jumping around, but is it important to grow a brand off of YouTube as well? Like, obviously, all of you guys have Twitter, all of you guys have Instagram. I know that probably comes with the territory to just have, you know, you have that grow, but like, is it important? Some YouTubers don't use Twitter at all. And I think that sometimes is a disadvantage, even if it's not the biggest, you know, like just not using your Twitter at all. Even if you think that your community isn't going to be there, Twitter's huge. Like, somebody's going to find your Twitter. There's going to be some of your community there if you have 400,000 subscribers. So like, what are your guys' thoughts on like building a community off of YouTube, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, or TikTok, or like Twitch, that kind of thing?
Right. I think it depends on what your content is on YouTube, right? Because if you're doing daily life vlogs, if you're talking about your favorite songs, if you're talking about, you know, a bunch of different things in which you would usually post on Twitter and Instagram, right? Then maybe you don't need one. But as for my channel, why I felt it was important to get a Twitter and an Instagram and Tumblr and all that stuff was because reactions are so one-sided, right? It's only a tiny bit, only a tiny part of us of how we react to music. And so I got Twitter to try and emphasize more of our lives, and Instagram to show more about us. And also, like, a small part of it is growing your brand outside of YouTube is important, because then you almost become more close with your fandom. I feel you're able to interact more, share with each other things immediate, right? And if you aren't earning like any money on YouTube like me, it's important to build that bond with people who want to support you on things like Patreon, right? They're like, "Ooh, I like this human being because your fashion choices are cool," you know? And they're like, "Okay, maybe I'll like give them $5 this week to help them make their next video," right? So that's what I see the importance of brand being, so you can create a bond with your audience and then allow for them to want to support you more on other platforms and stuff.
For me personally, I felt like Twitter has helped me a lot to like connect to other content creators. Twitter was where, you know, I started talking to Dre. That's how it led to like me meeting Emily, Charlene, just all the close friends that I know now. I met them through Twitter. And so not only can you build like a little fan base, but also connect with other content creators that are similar to you, and it really helps encourage you. But also, if you do have contact with people that might have connections, that could also help with your brand, and they could connect you to someone that like a sponsorship,
Right.
or
So true.
so it really does help you in the long run, but don't expect like immediate results. You know, and build a genuine connection with people. Like, don't come in expecting something right away, I guess.
True.
You know,
So skit/production versus being first. Ooh, I mean, that's true. So basically quality over quantity. Being first is a good thing, I think, but also people want the quality. That's how you stand out.
Being first has more pros almost. It's weird because you get the views, right? And not everyone's wanting to watch videos related to K-pop like 5,000 months after the song is released, right? So being first will gain you more subscribers and more new viewers. I think that's the most important thing about being first. Like, I'm growing so much slower now, right? But because I'm taking so much longer to get my videos out after a song is released. But I'm so much more satisfied with my work because I'm a huge perfectionist, huge workaholic. I want the video to be perfect in a way, and I'll be like completely disappointed with myself. It's a little unhealthy, but like when I get a video up and if there's like a weird audio crackle, right? Like I'll be like, okay, I'm never watching that video again. Maybe in a year I'll get rid of it. So
Wow.
yes to both, but maybe in order to grow, get there first.
I think it's kind of different in my situation because my focus is BTS or just Big Hit in general. Right now we are not really able to like post reactions right away. Like we would have to wait 24 hours. And so I've come to realize though, even though people have posted their like reactions like right away, they do get like the views because like you mentioned, like people are not going to be interested in it after like months, you know what I mean? It's in the moment. And so I would post it like a day after because I have built that fan base though. They do still watch my video even though it's been after 24 hours. So I can't really say for those who are still new, it is challenging. I'm still leaning over quality though over quantity. You do have to be consistent though, that's the thing. Try to get at least a video every week, if not 2 videos every week. Remember, if you do want to stand out, if you do want to be different, people do kind of see quality.
I mean, in the beginning, I used to preach in the beginning. If you want to be bigger as a K-pop reactor, be the first one.
Yeah.
And it's very true. It's been proven. But over time, I definitely, I think when I started not doing reactions, like I did other things, I started putting more quality in other things. Even my reactions, I used to, oh my God, I don't know how I did this sometimes. Sometimes there's a story that I did that I would post a video every day and get 2 hours of sleep every day for a month, which messed up my health, by the way.
Yeah.
My whole nervous system shut down, but, and I would never do that again because that was crazy. Did push my channel, but that was a little bit much. That's when I learned sleep was important. After that, obviously I stopped doing that. I would concentrate on actual intros, like skit intros. I used to do that like for whether it be Blackpink, BTS, or Big Bang or EXO. I would do like a whole narrative, like maybe during that time Stranger Things was trending, so I would do a Stranger Thing intro about like EXO, where like I would put up letters and it would say play my intro. I was like, whoa. I was like that. Like it was pretty cool.
That.
So those things, they can notice that in the corner. And those were my most viewed videos. Those are like the ones in the middle that I actually put the effort in editing into that. I guess gets them hype. I want to get them hype for the reaction just like as much as the video. So that was the quality. I actually I haven't done that in a long time. Well, sometimes here and there. I never edited for TXT and stuff like that. But because I think it's because I stopped doing that because I've been just busy with other projects like this one, or whether it be a Twitch or something like that. There's other people that are doing that I feel like deserve views, that put the effort and quality into it, like whether it be a skit or just like in their reviews or stuff like that, or just the editing. And even me, I would still, but I'm just quick with editing too. Like I'm not the first one anymore. I used to be, but I'm not the first one. But I would put a lot more crackhead editing now, I call it, which is basically just comedic editing. Basically, it's like simple YouTube editing, but it takes time. Yeah, I think that's why one of the reasons I stand out too.
As far as I do incorporate other videos into my channel, and like you've mentioned that you notice that your videos that you put a lot of work into got more views, and Umu also mentioned that like in the long run you'll notice that you'll start to get more views, like it picks up and it probably was recommended and people started sharing it because of the quality. Like I've had that happen on my channel at first, like the first 2 weeks, or like Nobody See Legends. I made a video based off of like BTS's past and their present. You know, of course I put a lot of work into that one. It took me a while. And when I first posted it, of course, it didn't really get a lot of views. But then if you believe that quality matters, people will start to share. It gets recommended. And then now it just gets a million views, or it gets a lot of views. So like it is cool to be first, especially since we mentioned that the reacting community is very saturated. You do want to be like the first to post your reaction, but think of what makes you special and add in some fun stuff that you feel like your viewers would really appreciate.
I mean, being first, yeah, like you said, being first doesn't matter, but quality, I really do like a good quality video more.
Plus,
it's a lot better.
Are more likely to rewatch too.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I love these edits. I just want to rewatch, you know, and like next week, the week after, like, those makes me feel happy.
We look forward to Dre's skits and
if I still do it, skits don't work anymore on YouTube. Anyways.
Really?
I love it. I think I remember the one where you use the BTS V doll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't get the views anymore. No one cares about skits anymore. But unless I incorporate like reactions, yeah. There is a YouTuber that does that I'm a fan of. That's, I think his name, I'll name drop him, Isaiah Hightower. I think he's pretty interesting. It's a 20-minute video because it's a reaction skit within a skit. It's like an Inception. So he puts a lot of effort into it, which I'm impressed by. And I'm like, those YouTubers inspire me to like, oh, I could do that too, I think. Yeah. But yeah.
As time goes on, and you guys have realized, like, obviously, I think everyone here has done collaborations with artists, whether it's in person or not. I guess for people who, you know, maybe they are starting to reach that point, or that's one of their goals, is to be able to work or interview an artist or a K-pop idol. What works best when, you know, presenting yourself or receiving an inquiry from a label or the concert promoter itself, in terms of content that you're gonna do with the idol?
It depends. It depends on your strong suit. Like I don't think my strong suit is interviews. I'm a type of guy like, yo, let's have fun. Like, let's just do it. I think of me as like the James Corden of YouTube. I want to be like that. Like when James Corden did hide and seek with BTS, I was like, that is the perfect idea. You don't have to talk. Everybody knows what hide and seek is. It's easy. Like those type of content, I'm like, oh, it's like simple to the point and it's fun. I have done interviews, of course, which get a little more serious, but yeah, like even like one that everybody likes is the NCT one, which I don't know how that happened. Shout out to SM. They probably won't work with me again. But yeah, I think the original plan was I wanted to get kind of a Jimmy Fallon thing where you get a fan and they talk to the camera and then NCT just shows up behind you. Yeah. I mean, so many other people like the Fine Bros took my idea. But, but anyways, nah, I'm just playing. That was the original idea, but it's like, oh, we have like only 15 minutes. I'm like, all right, bet. So I just stepped in there with no idea. I was like, all right, let's buy the role. Who has the best buy role? So that's like my go-to. And I just go naturally as like a vlog, basically. I think when I go in there, I always say this, like I'm always nervous, but I don't show it. I usually my method is that I go in there with energy. And if they give it back to me, then it's going to be easy. Now, if I go in like, yo, what's up? And they're like, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a struggle. It's going to be rough. NCT, like I would say, yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? They're like, hey. I'm like, hey. So it's like already a vibe. So I knew it was going to be a good one. And then we're just basically chilling. Like them, like, yo, teach me the woe. I'm like, what? Where did that come from? Like, I don't even know how to do the woe. But all right, I'll teach you. And now that's a thing now. Other than that, like, and then of course the serious ones like the one I did with Alyce or DPR. DPR was more of a passion project. So I used a lot of money on that. I knew that, like, we were friends. I mean, I met them in Korea with like Rosan too. I just told them to give me a chance because, you know, I was like, I want to do something a little different for my channel. And yeah.
Oh, they didn't pay you to do that?
No.
Oh, I thought it was project. Like,
I just say like, yo, I'll travel with you like for 3 stops. I'll take care of the hotel. You just get me in. And I'll just do it.
Wow. That's amazing.
So that was a lot of money I spent though.
That was a lot of money.
But it got views. It got a decent amount of views, but it also opened a lot of connections for me. Because they said, oh, Dre could do this too. He's not just that reaction dude. I'm like, so that's when I started like doing other things and got more connections and stuff like that. So even like the 80s one was amazing. Right. That I basically just like, again, a connection. I knew a dessert place that is popular in New York. I worked with them before with like clothing collaborations, the A2M basically. And then they's like, oh, it's like, yo, can we use your whole spot as like a place to just like film? Then we just feed them desserts based on their personalities, and it just became a vibe. So that happened too. So I've been very grateful, and people say lucky, which I'm like, yeah. I some people say just blessed. I'm like, yeah, I do too. Whatever word works for you. Right. But also for connections and collabs, my advice is just talk to people. First thing I did when I was like going to KCON 2013, a while back, was I just talked to the producers. I was like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Dre. Yeah, that's like my advice to all y'all.
Yeah, as for me, I feel like when creating content with idols, the way I approach it is I want to ask questions that have never been asked before, if possible. So stuff that is somehow linked to my content, my brand. So music, behind the scenes, music questions, questions about the preparation process, linking music and dance and practice and what it takes to be a musician on stage, right? And then I think it's so important for, like, especially for people who may be slightly interested in the group and are watching the interview to learn more about them, is somehow incorporate the comedy or just something fun. Something that the idols themselves like, so they won't get bored of, like, you know, tearing their heart out for, you know, in the questions, right? And so mix it together with serious, rare questions and also like a game. I've always tried in my past interviews to put a game in there, something that will get them yelling, energized, excited, and just mix that up. That I feel like just having kind of like a well-rounded type of video with them that people will want to come in and watch and learn more about them is pretty good. Now, I haven't interviewed yet any K-pop idols in person, so I have yet to experience that. But like Dre said, is cover up the nerves, cover up the excitement, but also, you know, let the love leak out. Let them know that they're appreciated. My dream is to interview Day 6. Like that is the ultimate dream. Really? And so they will for sure be drowning in compliments from me. Like, I won't be crazy, but I'll be like, please let me tell you how you've like saved so many lives with your music.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I feel like that's possible. That's totally possible.
Let me just
Yeah,
hit
I feel like
let me
that's
hit up Jay
possible
right now.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Yes. But I feel like I'm the same way as Dre. I am not really like a interviewer, especially since I know like I stutter with my words a lot, and so the way that I express things is like through games, movements, activities. So most of my collabs, I don't think I even had an interview with idols. It was all games actually. Like my first collaboration was actually unexpected in a way where we had to like, or we reacted to their music video that dropped.
Yeah.
So like that was nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But as I just pretend that like they weren't really there and just react how I usually react. And then the second one was a bunch of games where we could showcase their personalities and how fun they are, how loud.
Yeah.
But like Dre mentioned, it really does depend. Like when you walk into a room and the vibe that they give you, if you click it, like the energy's the same, then you know it's gonna go smooth. And so that helped a lot. But also if there is a nervous group, which I have collabed with, because they were new, a little bit shy, a little bit nervous. But the activity that I came up with didn't really need like translations. I had them teach me their choreography. Just so it's through movement, but it's still something fun, you know. And then the edits that I did through it was like crack, just to make the viewers laugh. So I guess do whatever you feel like. If you're really good at like interviewing, go for that. On the other hand, like people like me, I prefer activities and games.
No, I feel like people rather y'all interview than the American broadcast people that have been messing up. I don't know. I don't want to flex or anything, but I feel like I have an advantage because people already knew who I was. So when I go in there, they already know. Oh, that's that dude. I'm like, all right. I mean, maybe for y'all too. Of course, they definitely had to at least look up your videos to know, unless they don't care. But you never know. But because sometimes with me, I'm like, I don't know if you watch my videos, but whatever. But I guess for me too, another thing is I like to get a reaction out of them, whether it be like Ace. I got to work with Ace, and I did the jelly bean challenge. Which
that was a great video.
And I realized how many bad ones in there were.
Gross.
That was hella gross, and I had to suffer with them each time because I knew I'm down to like whether it be spicy, disgusting. I will be down to do it twice just so y'all could be comfortable. I want them to be comfortable. That's the main thing. It's like as long as they're comfortable, they can express themselves a lot more, and you get to see a different side to them. Maybe that's why I did with like ATs. NCT, I felt like everybody was just on point, so I didn't have to be like, oh, like everybody y'all good, blah blah blah. I guess it just depends. I just like to get a reaction out of it, whether it be just a natural reaction. I think that's what the fans want to, and that's what I'm curious about too.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're approaching the idols, Dre, to make them feel comfortable, is that like the very first thing that goes through? Like, hey, how are you guys feeling? Is that what you say? Like, oh, let's just do one run through and then we can film the second one, or like?
It depends because they obviously know what's gonna happen because I have to send them a script and everything, where they're whatever so everything's on point. Like I said, the only one that wasn't on script was the NCT one, which that was just like all free balling. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
I would have been so nervous. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was nervous, but I just had to go. If they feel my confidence, hopefully they're confident. That's what I felt.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
And whether I'm like nervous, and you probably could tell I'm nervous, whether it be stuttering or just not looking them in the eye. Like I know Taeyong was Taeyong from NCT was definitely hard to look at. But yeah, I mean it depends. It really depends how I go up to them. Like AT's was easy because Hangjung came up to me, which was my bias, and he just started talking to me, and then everybody just started like talking. I just remember one time like they just came in. And I was just greeting every one of them at the door. They didn't know who I was because I had my hat on.
Okay,
but they're like, yeah. And then they realized, oh, that's him. Maybe because they thought I was taller. I don't know.
Oh, Drake found out himself.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm shorter than I look. Everybody says I cake. I was like, oh, you're a lot shorter than I thought. I'm like, yeah, I know. I only show this part of me. But yeah, definitely making them comfortable is the way to go. For sure.
I feel like interacting with the idols, like humans, I guess you just don't. I'm sure you're like
Oh,
you're
hell yeah.
nervous, but treat them like they're like your friends or not. You know, like don't be too
you
comfortable.
try to
but
do that.
yeah, so be chill.
But
don't.
yeah, you got to be professional too because they know it's like a
Yes.
video. But there's definitely a few like idols that I've actually definitely worked with, or artists that I got really nervous.
Ooh,
And
can you name drop that?
I didn't get to work with them, but GD was
Oh my
nerve-wracking.
That's right. I remember your story for that. Oh,
I couldn't film it because I felt weird. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to film. I can't film. Like I rather, because I'm not really a vlogger. I don't like, hey, what's up, everybody? Like, nah, it just ruins the vibe. Sometimes it's better to like. There's been many situations where I didn't film, and Rosan was part of it too. But where I just like, you know what? I'm gonna vibe with them, and maybe in the long run, we'll work with each other.
Together.
That's it.
yes.
Sometimes it's better not to just vlog.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
like,
Right.
yeah.
That makes sense. I remember when there was a couple of collaborations with this podcast, and there were like some groups where there was like that line between like I listen to your music, I know that you know y'all's names and all that stuff, and I want to talk to you, but I also don't want to seem like I know too much. You know what I mean? And then like you know, and maybe come off as a fan, so I have to like, hey, so how was your promotion? And like at the same time like try to focus on what I'm doing so that it doesn't sound like I'm like, oh, like I know everything about you. It's such a weird line to draw. A form of marketing yourself. You know, obviously you can post on your Instagram or, you know, on YouTube and collaborate with other YouTubers. It's also networking with the people around you and like that kind of thing, even if it's not going to amount to a video, like it's making that connection for, you know, in the future that they know who you are so that you are a thought in their brain at some point, you know?
Hell yeah.
That's advice that's been given to me in so many different forms. Like literally whatever job you want to have in the future, I feel like at least one of the advice people would give for you is network. Music, business, working at a restaurant, just networking is the answer, right? But
It's
shout
very
out to all my other people out there with social anxiety. Sometimes you just gotta, not literally, but figuratively jump off the cliff, right? Because I don't know if you guys have noticed at KCON LA, I sit at the table while I allow my reactors to talk with you guys.
Yeah.
Really?
Because I'm terrified. Yeah, I respect you all so
ignored
much.
me. And
Not on purpose. Not from a...
someone else brought me. I was like, yo, you're the classic musician. I was like a fan because I was like, it's different. It's a lot different than everybody else. I was like, oh, you're one of the. I was like,
Right.
I was like, oh, there she is. And then I introduced myself.
Yeah, I feel so terrible because I've been so timid at KCON, right? It's the perfect place to get to know everyone since we have the green room. So, like, since I've graduated, I've been like, okay, Emma, you're gonna get better at networking now. Sorry, for those who don't know, Emma's my real name, but yeah. Yeah, networking is so important if you want to go anywhere at all in whatever job you have. And it just, maybe, I think I need to approach it less as, you know, business tactic and more just like make friends, for heaven's sakes. You guys are, you guys are great, and I really respect you, and I shouldn't let my nerves get in my way of talking to you guys about just, you know, whatever comes up. So
Well, I think that's all the questions. We've kind of like, we had more questions, but I think everyone sort of answered them within each other. So we really appreciate you guys taking the time to speak with us.
Yes,
and
thank you.
the listeners who are trying to learn how to create their own YouTube or just their own content. Where can people find you, just in case they aren't aware?
React to the K, which is one word, on YouTube. React to the K official on Instagram, and just plain React to the K on Twitter and Tumblr and Facebook. So we'll be here. We'll be here for you.
That's smart.
I'd love for our fandom to grow, get closer with everyone. We're gonna try more live streams this year, and I have a lot in mind. This is my first time. I'm gonna be going full time on YouTube because I've just graduated.
Yes.
Oh wow.
No more
Nice.
schoolwork that I have to
Congrats.
worry about. So we've got a lot of cool things coming.
I'm excited.
I know, looking forward to that. Especially now you could like go full on, go full in. You guys could find me on YouTube. It's xCeleste, xCeleste. But also on Twitter, it's xCeleste ____. But and then Instagram is XX_Rosan, which is ROSAN. You guys could find me on Patreon as well. It is xCeleste, same thing. But also, you could find me on Himalaya. Me and Jose Ochoa TV have a podcast together called Interlude Army, where we talk about, you know, BTS Army related things, even big hits.
And yeah, as for my Patreon, it's once again React to the K, and everyone who supports YouTubers on Patreon, we are so incredibly thankful. Like, I just right out, I get $100 a month on YouTube, and that's like 50 to 60 hours of work every week, plus having to, pay people who work for me. And so everyone who does just pledge $1 is fine, but like literally whatever you can give, it helps me. I want to upgrade, so many things, and the better my quality becomes is thanks to my patrons. So
well, we look forward to that. Really liked your interview with Very looking forward to more virtual interviews like that. But thank you guys again.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for having me.
So along with Rosan and Umu, today we have Cameron Phillips, who is on to talk about his YouTube experiences and things like that. So thank you for joining us, Cameron.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Very happy to be here.
Super excited to have the BTS dubber here with us. I think that
Every time I do K-pop and shit on Twitch, they always give me his videos to watch. I'm like, oh, y'all want me to watch Cameron? All right. It's like, it is actually really funny though. Some of the shit I'm like, what the fuck goes through your mind? It's smart too.
I'm glad they ask you to watch it. You don't have to watch it though. Definitely not.
No, it's all good because I haven't seen all of them. So
they're all really funny. Like, are you making those up as you go?
Is it improv?
Yeah, I have
is it improv?
I plan it out a little bit, like rough guidelines, and then I kind of just do whatever. I don't know.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
When you started your YouTube channel, was like that were you thinking of doing like a comedic sort of thing, or were you, just starting it because you just wanted to start a YouTube channel?
I was in school for film and editing and stuff, so I really like making things. And I love K-pop, so I started a K-pop channel. For a while when I was like a teenager in high school, I made like gaming videos because I saw like PewDiePie and all those people on YouTube do it, and I thought it was so fun. But then I found K-pop in like 2012, and then in like 2016, I think that's when I started the channel. I just wanted to none of my friends like K-pop, so like I really wanted to share the experience with, even if they're random people, so I started it. I didn't know what my intentions were, but I guess it just grew into what it is now. So,
no, that makes sense.
Nice.
Kind of have a similar story in a way too. That's crazy. I didn't know about you. I guess didn't ask last time. But that's what's up. You were like in film school editing as well, just like me.
Yeah.
You're
that's
right.
What's up. So you just wanted to create either way, no matter whatever clicked, I guess.
Yeah, I just wanted to make stuff, and then as the K-pop channel grew a bit, I just was able to be a little more creative, and now it's like to the point where I really like it now, and I put a lot of effort and like stuff into my videos. Sure. So yeah. About
how long does it take for you to make one of the dubbing videos?
It depends. Sometimes it takes like 6 or 7, 8 hours, but sometimes it'll take like 2 or 3 hours if I'm like really just like in the mood. And I it just sometimes it works really well, and sometimes it takes a bit of time. But
okay, I feel like you have a lot of different types of content. You have your artists, like your mixtapes and things like that you come out with. You have your own podcast called Sad Boy. And then you have, obviously your BTS content here and there, and you just have sometimes just random videos. And I feel like you and Dre, I don't know how you feel about it, but like or what you think. It's like you have your own sort of thing that you do, and you've been able to, create your own voice within your own fans. That's like really successful. Like from what you started with in your channel to now, how did you feel about doing new content that wasn't normally what you started out with?
I basically. I just have always been really transparent with like the people who watch my videos. I think I've built a really good relationship with them throughout the years by just being really honest and transparent and talking about like as my channel grew into what it was, I kind of always was vocal about what the type of videos that I want to make and the type of videos that made me happy. And like as much as I try to make videos to make other people happy, I do a lot of it is kind of a form of creative expression that kind of I really enjoy. So I've always been vocal about what I want to do. So if I'm like, okay, I'm going to start trying to do these things, they like the people who support my videos, they've always been super supportive, like no matter what I do. Like when I started in like 2016, I think for the first year or so, I mostly just did reactions because I grew up watching like Dre and other people do K-pop reactions. And that's why I wanted to start the channel, because I thought it looked really cool, really fun to share the experience of loving K-pop. And then after a little bit, I don't think I get enough leeway on doing like the things I want to do with like reactions. Like there's only so much you can do with being creative and editing, things like that. So I wanted to start different things, do different things, and as time grew, I tried different things. Some things worked out, some things didn't work out, but luckily people that were fans of me were always like really supportive no matter what I did. So because of them, it gives me a little bit more confidence to be able to do different things and try different things out, because I know even if it's not like the best thing or the greatest thing, they'll still support it no matter what I do. And not to say I don't care what they think, but like I also a lot of it is just for me mostly.
It makes you laugh and happy.
Yeah.
Mostly. No, that's cool, because I said this in the last one. I think that's one of the reasons why my channel grew too, because I did different things, and people like you or other people that do a little bit different from everybody else definitely inspire me to do go back into that. Because I used to do freaking skits in my intros for reactions and still put it out on time. Yeah. And I'm like, I need to get back to that. That shit was fun.
Yeah.
But I put hard work into that shit for no reason, for a reaction, because I knew that I wanted people to be entertained. Like, oh, here's a freaking intro, hype ass intro for like a skit for a Blackpink while doing that. But yeah.
Wait, is that what you're doing for Blackpink this time around?
No, I don't know. I have to be really inspired. Like for me, how I work, I have to be really into it, inspired. Like, all right, I gotta do this. I'm doing something a little different. Something that I've been pushing back for a while.
Okay.
I'm excited to see it.
Me too.
Should be interesting and embarrassing.
Okay. Well, the other thing, Cameron, is that, with your videos, and sometimes it seems different than, the other, YouTubers or content creators that are out there. A lot of people are afraid of being canceled and being controversial. And I feel like you're not. Do you think it's better for your content that you are controversial, or better for your, the success of your brand or YouTube for you to be controversial? Or do you feel like you're controversial?
I don't think I'm that controversial. I think that, like, I make stupid jokes and, like, I swear, say dumb shit. Like, I always just say what I'm kind of feeling. I've, like, definitely throughout the years, when I was, like, a teenager, when I started the YouTube channel, I kind of was just, like, I would sometimes say just stupid shit just to say it. But, I'm a bit older now, and, like, I'm definitely a little more thoughtful with what I'm saying. I try to, this is kind of not answering your question, but, like, definitely the last few years, I've kind of really looked at I don't have, like, a big influence or anything, but I have some influence on people. And even though I like to be myself and be a bit different and, say stupid shit sometimes, it's been really good, I think, for me as a person to kind of grow and learn from different things, to the point now where I think I can really influence people on different matters, either going on the world or whether it be mental health or anything else. But the controversial thing, I don't think I'm very controversial. I think I just say stupid stuff sometimes. I don't know if it's controversial or not, but yeah.
Nah, I don't think Cameron is controversial. He just matured basically throughout the times. We just watched him grow. I feel like everybody did. Kind of like me seeing Kenny said dumb shit back then. I'm like, why'd you say that? Because he was younger. Now he's fucking mature. He still says dumb
I
shit
think
or whatever.
Another thing with that is, on that topic, like, most people grow up and do stupid shit, make mistakes, and then they learn from them. But I think when you're someone who's posting things every day and, like, you're definitely more in the public, people kind of see your mistakes and they see you grow. So it's a bit different. Like obviously, I don't want to say like cancel culture or anything, but, like, even if you grow from mistakes or you grow as a person, they're always going to point to something that maybe a mistake that you did.
Oh, for
and
sure.
Even if you grew from it or you apologize for it, they're always going to say, oh, well, look what you did that. But if it's someone who's not on the internet, someone, like, obviously people are going to make mistakes growing up. And, like, if you're not in the public or on the internet, people aren't going to know about it. So it's a bit different. But I'm also kind of glad, because it really does make you kind of grow and learn a lot more as a person. So I think it's good and bad in a way, but yeah.
Yeah, it definitely humbles you, or learn from your mistakes a lot more.
Yeah.
It's like, but I never thought of you as a controversial person like that.
I wonder, like, it seems like you're always trying to just stay true to your voice, like, no matter what, obviously, no matter what other people might have to say, or just, like, at the age you might have been, like, you're always staying true to how you're feeling, which has probably helped the success of your channel as well. I wonder, in the future, what do you like I said, you have your podcast, you have, the mixtapes and things like that you've come out with. What else do you have planned for in the future that might be different from what people have expected? Or is it more of that?
I think I recently, like Dre, started streaming, like about a month ago. I started streaming just to try it out. I always thought it'd be fun because I think YouTube can be a little bit pressuring at times with trying to create new ideas, trying to even perform, kind of, because you're still yourself in YouTube videos, but you have to kind of be a little bit more energized version of yourself to keep the videos interesting. But I think with streaming, it's a lot more. You get to kind of just chill. You still get to interact with people that support you. You get to, do fun things. So I think I'll definitely focus on that a bit more. As far as music, music's my favorite thing to do. I'd spend more time on music than anything else. Like, I could do that for the rest of my life and be happy. So I'll definitely just continue to make music and hopefully keep growing with music and stuff. I have this album that's I've been working on for like a little bit, and it's a story album. It's about like 40 minutes, and so I'm in the very, very early stages of planning a short film. So I'm trying to do like it's not even short. I guess it's 40 minutes. So it's still short, but nice. I'm trying to do like a 40 minute short film for like a whole album. That's like the one thing that I've really trying to focus on for the last little bit, and it'll probably take maybe a couple years to do, but and then YouTube, I'll just keep doing YouTube for as long. Like, YouTube's stressful sometimes, but like I think maybe I'd love to, as the years go on, try to dwindle a little bit from YouTube as much as I can, because it does get really stressful for me sometimes. If I can still keep my audience and still do things that I want to do outside of YouTube, I'll be happy. Yeah. No,
same. I think we're like almost in the same mindset, except for the music thing. I already tried it out. I was like, nah, I'm good. But
yeah, you can spit some fire. I spit,
but like only if like I wouldn't want to pursue it. But if my friend's like, oh, Drake, can you get it? I'm like, all right, I'll try. But
yeah,
I am similar with you where I feel like YouTube is stressful. I think I'm dwindling away from YouTube. I'm more grinding on Twitch, which I like more because it's more interactive. They see a different side of me. They get to know me better. And I think and I've said this before, I was like, I might just use YouTube as like for bigger projects. Like if I have like a short film, I'll put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. People notice I am slowing down with reactions a bit here and there. Yeah. Like I'm not as what I used to be where I did it every day. And that's why I've been doing Twitch too. So
interesting. It's so funny that this is supposed to be like a, like Cameron, this is supposed to be like a Podcourse sort of thing, like for like starting your YouTube channel, like YouTube within K-pop. And it's like a lot of people, it's fine.
You're actually right.
No, but I think it's good that people are seeing like, maybe YouTube is the only way.
You need different opinions, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah,
it's YouTube's a great platform to build your audience and help grow, I guess, your brand a little bit and do the things you want to do. But I think that's the same way. Every sort of, whether it's Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every single social platform kind of builds your audience a little bit. So there's not really one main thing I think you need to focus on. But
true, especially today, you could choose so much. Have an audience start from anywhere.
Yeah,
whatever blows up. I mean, whatever. I don't know.
And another thing, I feel like I remember last year when you were you took a break from social media. I don't know. I can't remember if it was a break from social media or a break from YouTube, but you took like a month or two break.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. Correct. What led you to that point?
Yeah, I took a break from YouTube. I don't know how to even explain it, but it just becomes super stressful. You put a lot of pressure on yourself. Put a lot of pressure on yourself to create like good things that make people happy, but things that also make you happy. And sometimes you can kind of get lost in, like, I was getting lost a little too much in like analytics. Like I was like, oh, like this video's not doing as well as this one. Why not? Why aren't they watching these ones? And it just becomes so stressful. And then you try to make videos that are a bit more catering to the audience. But if you do that, sometimes you lose a little bit of why you love to do the videos. And then like it just like so much stress pours on. And then you have like still like 96% of people are going to be like supporting you and great. And then there's still like people who are so mean and so rude for no reason. And as much as you can be like, I don't care, I don't give a shit about that. If you read some of the stuff and you're just like, oh, like that doesn't feel good. You just fucking hate it. And then you just like, it just all builds up. And then so sometimes you just need like really take a break. So I needed to take like a big break. And it was really helpful. It was great. It's like a good little reset. and then you kind of remember
Nice.
why you love doing it, and you kind of reset your mind a little bit. I think it's important. I think now I do a little bit more like sporadic breaks, just so it doesn't like build up so much that I need to take a huge break. I think that's good. Well, that's for anything you do in life. So much stress builds up. You got to try to find little breaks here and there.
No, I understand that. I don't even know when's the last time I took a break. I'm just dead inside. But no, I definitely took breaks. But even when I take a break, I work on other things, which I don't know.
Yeah, like whenever I take a break, it's like a break from everything, but then I'll still like make music. Making music and like writing songs or just writing in general is just very calming and soothing. So
has anybody like filmed your process of making music?
No, I could probably do that one day.
I know.
Yeah, I guess I could do that one
interesting.
day. Yeah, I just don't think about filming it.
Shit.
Just go.
I'll be interested in filming that. I've been just doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that. That's my interest, like the process of making an album.
Yeah.
Because usually when I like take a break from YouTube, I just like filming other things that, you know, for me.
Yeah.
Even if it won't get views or not, I'm like, I like this.
Yeah.
Like that DPR doc, I was like, I took 3 months off. I'm like, I'm gonna just do this, which in the end worked out for me. Made more connections to other people, which is cool. Taking breaks. I mean, I moved to Hawaii, which is nice. It's a nice little break. I could look outside. There's nature, so I guess that's my break.
Exactly. Also, you have a lot of pets, right, Cameron? A lot of cats, right?
I have 4
How
cats.
many cats? Okay, I was about to say 6.
And then my friend moved in for a couple months, and he has a dog, and he just got a kitten today, and he's bringing it home tomorrow. So then we'll have 5 cats and 1 dog. So
wow,
there's quite a few.
How is that?
Yeah,
It's great. I fucking love it. I love
Okay.
cats so much. It's great. You just have to be you have to clean after them a lot, but it's okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like almost every pet.
Yeah.
right. That's true. That's true. They're like a second child. They're like a child. They have to take
Yeah.
care
They
of.
are.